Hello everybody, my name is Dandy and welcome to a video about Elden Ring, and more specifically about the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC. Now I've been a huge Elden Ring lover for a long time, I've put hundreds of hours into it, and in this particular video I just wanted to cover something that I see a lot of people struggling with about the new DLC, and that is scaling up to meet the challenges that will approach you while traversing the land hidden in the shadow of the Erdtree. This is just a super quick, no spoiler video to tell you about two of the mechanics that it took me a minute to learn and can be a little difficult to learn intuitively if you're not familiar with this game or if it's kind of new to you. Those two things are the Revered Spirit Ashes and the Shade Tree Fragments. It looks like the word Skidoo Tree. But that's like Old English. It's their Shade Tree Fragments. So each of these are incredibly important for different reasons. So after you take the hand of Kindly Mikola, or what's remaining of Kindly Mikola's corpse, to travel to the beautiful world of the Shadow of the Erdtree, you're going to be faced with a lot of challenges right up front. It's a very daunting DLC. I've played it quite a bit to this point and am, in fact, almost done with it, I believe. I have avoided spoilers. But it took a long time for me to learn how to properly scale, because your stats are inhibited by the Shadow of the Erdtree. So even if you are a super late game high level character with a maxed out build, a lot of your stats are being held back by being in a new land. And the way to overcome that are, again, the two things that I mentioned, the Revered Spirit Ashes and the Shade Tree Fragments. So the first are these. They're called Shade Tree Fragments. Again, looks like the word Skidoo Tree, and I could be saying that wrong. But the description is what's important about these. Reading item descriptions in this game is only something that lore heads usually do, but it's important for this item. So if you look at the Shade Tree Fragment, it says, a splinter of the Shade Tree that contains golden brilliance, acquired at the Church of Marika and other places in the Realm of Shadow. Consume these at sites of grace to bolster your Shade Tree blessing. The Shade Tree Blessing bolsters the bearer's ability to deal and negate damage, but has no influence outside of the Realm of Shadow. It is said that when the Shade Tree crumbles from its core, that it will scatter across the entire Realm of Shadow. The people of the Erdtree collect the splinters and use them in prayer. So, a lot of lore dump there, but mainly what you should take away from that is that you need these fragments to become stronger, specifically the deal and negate damage. So your ability to dish out punishment and take hits are directly tied to how many of the Shade Tree blessings that you bolster. And you can go to the bonfire, go down a few and you'll see it's right here. And this is where you go and use these, kind of like leveling up your flask. This is where you're going to go to enhance your blessing and scale with the DLC to appropriately fight the challenges that approach you. As the thing says as well, you'll find these in important areas. There are certain enemies holding jars that are glittering that you might get these from. There's a very particular type of beast that will appear several times throughout this DLC, specific and new to this DLC, that will give you these fragments, or you'll just find them in churches or places of importance. So make sure you're checking all corners of the map because there are plenty of them around. As you can see, I already have a pretty high blessing. The other item, and this one really comes in for you single players who are looking to get through this DLC without the aid of companions, is called Revered Spirit Ashes. Revered Spirit Ashes work in much the same way as the Shade Tree Fragments, but offer a little bit different of a scaling buff. Here's what the description says. It reads, a spirit ash of those who came before, infused with potent spirituality. Acquired from the corpses of Hornsent and other objects that ritually decorate townships and villages across the Realm of Shadows. Consume these at sites of grace to bolster your Revered Spirit Ash blessing. The Revered Spirit Ash blessing bolsters both summoned spirits and spectral steeds' abilities to deal and negate damage, but has no influence outside of the Realm of Shadow. The withered corpses were called tutelary deities, and Revered Spirit Ash was said to quietly accumulate in the palms of their hands. Again, a lot of lore drop there, but mainly what you're focusing on is the fact that by using these, Torrent, your wonderful spectral steed, and the various summons that you can use using Spirit Ashes to call spirits in, are going to scale alongside you and deal more damage and take more damage. So if particularly potent if you're playing this as a single player experience, because I personally utilize spirit summons a lot and found it super worthwhile to bolster their strength as far as possible to help me in some of these more crazy DLC boss fights, of which there are several. Some of these bosses go absolutely insane. So, and you'll find them at places like this. These statues are scattered all throughout the shadow of the Erdtree, the Shadowlands, and there will also be some other locations where you find them, or other enemies that you kill to get them. So again, it really, if you're struggling with a boss, if you're struggling with a location, go somewhere you haven't gone and look for these things, bolster those blessings, and then return to fight your foes with more of your stats available online. So again, just a quick and easy video. I've seen a lot of people online struggling with this particular issue and saying the DLC is too hard, but it really does become, it's still hard, don't get me wrong, but it becomes a much more manageable struggle when you follow the flow of the game and collect the resources you need to collect. So either way, my name is Dandy. I hope that y'all are all having fun exploring the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC, and I look forward to seeing you out there. Later, everyone.